Hello everybody and welcome back to Cask and Point. Today we're going to be trying some good old Sazerac 18. So Sazerac 18 has a lot of history behind it. It's part of the Buffalo Trace Antique collection that includes Thomas H. Handy, William Llewellyn, George T. Stagg, Eagle Rare 17, and Sazerac 18. Now I've done several reviews on Thomas H. Handy, William Llewellyn, and George T. Stagg. They're three of my favorite pours on the market and I really enjoy them. And honestly, sometimes they're close to worth their secondary markets on those. But I've liked Sazerac 18 and Eagle Rare 17 a lot less than those three. Firstly, their secondary markets are much higher. You're looking at around $1,000 for a bottle of Sazerac 18 and about $1,400 for Eagle Rare 17 nowadays. And a lot of this is because if people want to complete the collections, obviously you need all five. However, there are 30 to 40,000 bottles of George T. Stagg and Thomas H. Handy every single year. There are probably around 2,000 bottles of Eagle Rare 17 and Sazerac 18. And because of that, obviously you need to really pay up that markup to try to complete that collection. And if there are only about 2,000 bottles, think about how many of those are going to end up in bars and restaurants. And so there are very few that people can actually attain, and so even though they're not typically thought to be some of the best pours on the market, just because of that rarity, exclusivity, and to complete that great Buffalo Trace Antique collection every year, the secondary market on them are very high. Now today I have a sample of 2020 Sazerac 18, and so I'm very excited to try it here with you guys today. I haven't had this year of Sazerac 18. I've only actually had Sazerac 18 once before, and this is my first review on Sazerac 18. So let's get right into it and see if this $1,000 rye is actually anywhere close to worth that secondary value. On the nose here, very rich, really rich oak on this. I will say though, it smells like a rye. I'm getting a lot of grassy flavors on here. Definitely smells over 90 proof. Yeah, there's some cloves in here, some mint in here, some lavender on this. Really rich oak. I mean, that's an impressive amount of oak on this. Some nice vanilla on it as well, some nice caramel. Yeah, so it's actually pretty sweet, really rich oak, and then some grassiness to it. Those are really the three elements that seem to be working together here. Wow, this is nice. Now, fun fact, Sazerac 18 was one of the original Buffalo Trace Antique collections. Back in 2000, when they first released it, there were only three. There was William Llewellyn 19, there was Eagle Rare 17, and there was Sazerac 18. And another fun fact is that those were all 90 proof offerings, but Eagle Rare 17 eventually was jumped up to 101, and so the only release that has stayed exactly the same for every single year and has never missed a year is Sazerac 18. So it's really the staple of Buffalo Trace Antique collection if you look at its history. I mean, really the one that's always been around, that's always been consistent. Let's try it and see if it's all that. Oh, that's nice. Really rich. Really nice oak. Really nice vanilla and caramel. It's pretty light. I'm definitely drinking around 90 proof on that first sip here. And look, my expectations weren't particularly high. This is a bottle that's full of history. And what you're paying for is that history. You're paying for that exclusivity like I talked about before. And because of that, obviously this isn't a pour that really needs to be a $1,000 juice to justify why a lot of people are paying that on the secondary markets. But it's solid. It's solid. It's unique. I mean, you're not really getting this kind of rich oak on pretty much anything. I mean, 18-year-old ryes do not come around every single day. Very antique, I will say. And it's nice. It's nice, it's refined. Give you a ton of flavor on this one. Almost like a brown sugar flavor that's really been sitting in my mouth, which is really nice. Am I blown away? No. For the secondary value, this is far from worth it. I mean, this is probably going to end up in the low 8s for me. If that, it might even end up in the 7s. I mean, this is an interesting pour, a unique pour, not a particularly robust pour that's really giving me everything. That's okay. Let's take a second sip. Oh, yeah. Really sweet on this one. I mean, surprisingly sweet. Like a nice brown sugar, molasses, vanilla, caramel. A lot of different sweet notes working together here. Definitely in that backdrop of a really rich oak throughout this pour. And then those grassy flavors, the clove, the mint, the lavender, the chives, those kinds of really herbal notes and grassy notes. Definitely all over this pour. So it tastes like a really old rye. Like I think if you put in, this is an 18-year-old rye that's 90 proof, try it. This is kind of what I would expect it to taste like. I am not really surprised by this pour, which also means I'm not particularly disappointed by this pour. I knew this wasn't going to be great. It's not great. If you are seriously considering buying this bottle for $1,000 on the secondary market and you needed to watch this video to really decide whether or not you're going to do it, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that if you're buying it just for the juice, do not buy it. Run away quickly. But if you're buying it for the novelty, if you're buying for all that, look, if it's your money, do what you got to do with that money. But I think it's a pretty good pour. I mean, I think a lot of people say very negative things about Sazerac 18. They say that it's a terrible pour, that it's awful, that it's basically as good as the normal Sazerac $30 bottle. I don't think that's true. I think it's solid. It's unique. It's really rich. It's just, if you're looking at it through the lens of this should be $1,000, you're going to be disappointed. Look, if you look at it, the MSRP at $125, I think it's worth it. I think I'd buy a few of this. I think it's really good, really rich, really unique. But it's not a $1,000 pour. Let's take a third sip. It's great. It's great. It's straightforward. On this, I did get a lot more of that rye spice. Like the baking spices, the nutmeg, the cinnamon kinds of notes on there. Definitely still got the mintiness and the cloves and the chives and stuff like that. Really rich oak, caramel, vanilla. Yeah, it's a good pour. It's a good pour. For $1,000, it's not worth it. But I think if you're at a bar and you could spend $30 to try this once, or $40 to try this once, and say, yes, I've tried Sazerac 18, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth that. I think it's worth trying one time. I think it's interesting. I think there's so much history behind this pour, and that's really what you're paying for here. And it is cool to try, and I'm glad I got to do this review here with you guys. I've had the sample of Sazerac 18 from 2020 for about a year now, so I'm finally getting around to trying it here. It's nice. I've honestly been on quite a rye kick recently. I mean, the River Roots ryes have just been so good to me. The Booker's rye that I reviewed last week, I kind of figured it was time to try another rye that I just haven't gotten the chance to review yet, and is unique and interesting and complex and has all the history behind it, and that's Sazerac 18. So let's take this last little bit here and let's give it a rating. Yeah. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, it has all the elements that I discussed before. It's not really developing. There's maybe the lightest hint of plum in there that I get on a lot of Buffalo Trace products, but it's really light. I mean, this is primarily going to be an oak bomb with caramel, with vanilla. Honestly, I am liking it a little bit less if I just think about the spirit. Like, it's definitely gotten worse on the third, fourth sip here. I thought the earlier sips were not impressive, but they were good. Whereas I think later on, it's becoming actually a little bit flatter. I'm really feeling the 90 proof on it. I'm going to go ahead and rate this 7.6. I don't think it really deserves to even be like a Stag Junior level, like weekly sipper level. I think it's interesting. I think it's cool. I think if you typically like lower proofs, you'll probably appreciate this a lot more than I will. But it's solid. I mean, you cannot tell me this is a $30 pour of whiskey. But if you put this juice into a bottle that was $150, which is the actual MSRP on this bottle, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I think it's cool. I think it's interesting. I don't think you're getting that kind of rich oak on pretty much anything else. But it's also very light. I wish it was cask strength or somewhere close to it. But anyways, that's Sazerac 18. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you had this pour, let me know down below in the comments what you think. But with that, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.